I know you will find this stunning when you behold this magnificent physique before you. But sports and athleticism has never been part of my life. Neither of those things have ever been part of my life. So how then to explain that I gave birth to a natural-born athlete? This was a child who honestly nearly sprinted out of the womb in a team jersey. She was very athletic from the moment she was born. Well, in 1996, she was 6 years old, and it was the Atlanta Olympics. Do you remember the Olympics of '96? This was when that marvelous women's gymnastics team took to the arena, brought home the gold. What a great moment. And do you remember that moment where Carrie Strug, the little teeny, well, they're all teeny tiny, what am I saying? The little teeny tiny gymnast had injured her ankle very, very badly, and she had her vault left to do. Now, I don't know if you know that when you do a vault or a flip or something like that, you come down, not that I would know this, by the way, I am told this by others, you come down with 8 times your body weight when you make that landing. So this little girl with a very badly sprained ankle hurled herself in great pain down that vaultway, right? And she hit that vault, and I don't know about you, but I remember sitting at home thinking, she will never do this. That leg will collapse, and that will be a very sad moment for her. Well, she stopped the landing. You remember that great moment, right? And you remember her coach, Bella Caroli, scooped her up in his arms, ran her around the arena, thousands of people applauding, millions of people around the world clapping and applauding all the while. And millions is probably also the number of little girls who found themselves in gymnastics classes the very next day. I will tell you that mine was among them. And I will also tell you that I had no illusions about that experience. I was not sitting by the phone waiting for Bella's call for the 2000 games. I was really sure that was not going to happen. The truth is, I had just read some research that said that young girls who are in sports tend to stay out of trouble. So if I'm very honest, I would say that my objective in having her in gymnastics was to keep her off crack and the stripper pole. That was really all. That was all it was. Now, not all the parents were like that, of course. There were some who were sitting by the phone waiting for Bella's call. And I don't know if any of your children have done team sports, but it's an expensive venture. And so one of these mothers, who was the one sitting by the phone waiting for the call, came in one day. She said, y'all, I got just the plan for us. It's so expensive to do this, but we have to because our children are all talented, especially mine. But anyway, what I think we should do to raise some money is we can go to the bingo parlor. And I thought, I can play bingo, that's fine. No, it wasn't playing bingo. She said, we can work the bingo parlor. Oh, you've been down this road, haven't you? You have the scars to prove it. This is not for the faint of heart. You will make a lot of money because they take in a lot of money in bingo parlors on the weekends. And the parents essentially serve as the staff for the bingo experience. Well, for reasons that seem very strange to me, no one wanted to be the bingo caller. Well, I thought that was the best job there was. You get to sit on the platform, you call the numbers. I'm a professional broadcaster, how hard could it be? Well, that was when I discovered that the bingo caller is the sheriff and the bingo hall is the wild, wild west. The bingo caller is the person who runs the whole shebang. I wish I had known that earlier. And you have to kind of picture the environment now. This is a large cavernous room, the smoke of 1,000 cigarettes. This is a very luck-driven, superstitious group of people. Hundreds of them at long tables up and down the width and breadth of the room. It's a very intimidating experience. What is particularly intimidating is when someone, as it happened to me one weekend, shoots her hand up in the air, launches to her feet and says, I have been playing for 9 games and you have not yet called G54. I thought, this is amazing. As soon as I ascertained that she wasn't armed, which you would want to ascertain, I thought, thought, this is really amazing. This woman has some pretty incredible, detail-oriented skills, and she is wasting her time sitting in this bingo parlor. She should be either cracking codes somewhere, right? Or if she would put her skills to use in public life, can you imagine a better person to comb through campaign finance reports or to keep track of the promises that politicians make? I thought, my dear, you are wasting your time. And that's when it hit me that every single one of us has some gift, some skill that we can bring to our public life together. Even Miss G54 in the bingo parlor. It's a really important thing that we do now, that we think about doing now, because the stakes have really never been higher. You know, the truth of the matter is there's never been a better time to be involved in these kinds of efforts, because really, how badly can we mess it up? The Pew Research Center just did a survey last fall, right after the government shut down, and they found only 19% of Americans think that Congress is doing mostly what it's supposed to. 19%. So I figure the rest of us cannot mess it up, but so badly, right? Nowhere to go from up, right? Right. So the other interesting statistic is that 85% of people are angry and frustrated with the federal government. And of course those feelings, as you might imagine, seep down to the state and local levels too. So we have a tough time in our public culture. It's certainly disheartening, but it really is not insurmountable, because I believe there are ways that we can share the skills that we have and bring them to this very important work we have to do together in our public life. So tonight what I'd love to do is to give you 3 steps that I think are critically important to help you either engage or re-engage your citizenship. One of the things that I'm hearing on the radio show, and I find it very distressing, in the last couple of years, I've heard from so many more callers who are essentially just saying they're checking out of public life. They're not voting in elections anymore. They're not engaging in public discourse because they're cynical and they're tired. And I really want to give folks some ideas about ways that they can re-engage in what is a really critical component of life in the United States. So 3 ideas for you tonight. One is to conduct your own personal inventory of your own skills and, more importantly, your own attitudes. What do you think about it? If you're the person who ran your son's Boy Scout wrapping paper sales initiative, how many have sold wrapping paper? You know you have one. Okay, 5 people, that's great. Then you have management skills, you have sales skills, you have lots of skills, you have organizational skills that you can bring to that task. If you are a project manager on your job, then you are somebody who has great skills to move people toward an objective conclusion. That's leadership. So you can put those skills to work in public life. If you're a party planner who loves to have a great time, you should know that the glue that holds public life together is that people want to have a good time. They want to work for something fun. Look, in this event tonight, people want to work for something fun. They want to have a good time doing it. And so if party planning is your thing, there is absolutely a place for you in public life. But what may be more important, actually, is to do an inventory of your attitudes. And honestly think about whether you may have fallen into what is a chronic situation in our culture now. And that is the belief that you cannot learn anything from or hang around with somebody who does not believe in lockstep what you believe, who does not wear your team jersey, who does not favor your political candidates, who does not share your outlook and your philosophy on life. Because if you are going to restrict yourselves in those ways, then not only will you be missing out on a lot, you will not be able to engage the numbers of people that you need to make change, to make positive change. So that's a